But things have developed on the Springwater to a point that we now think we have to act. And that is a combination of the number of homeless people living there, the environmental damage that this critical green ribbon through the city is suffering, and the rising number of public safety concerns and actual public safety problems all gets it to a tipping point where we have to say the Springwater is going to have to be off limits. We're going to try to accommodate homeless people in the short term here and there, and in the longer term in the hundreds of new shelter beds that we're opening and in the thousands of new affordable housing units that we're building. But in the short term, the Springwater is not a good place for people to be living. So we're going to start cleaning up the Portland section of the Springwater over the next few weeks. We're going to start in Lentz and Brentwood, Darlington, where the highest impact camping is. The Police Bureau estimates there are about 280 people living in that section of the Springwater. Then on July 18th and running through August 1st, we're going to start intensive social service outreach to the folks that live on the corridor. We're asking all the providers that we work with, people like Join and Janus and other service providers who are out there as caseworkers for folks, to start directing their resources to the Springwater, and we're prepared to backfill some of the costs of that with city funding. These are folks that are already under contract to us. On July 29th, we're going to post a notice on the corridor that it's going to be cleaned up, and on August 1st, we're going to have cleanup crews in the field. Then we'll also be signing the area and prohibiting trespassing. So it will be reserved for park use, which is really what it was intended. I was involved in creating the Springwater Corridor back when I was the Parks Commissioner. So I know it's supposed to be a park, and we're going to restore it to that condition. Now, we're going to try to do our best in terms of making sure that the human impact on the folks that are being displaced is mitigated. So there are folks that are probably there are some folks that are right on the cusp of getting housing. So we're asking our service providers to find some motel space, get motel vouchers, keep those folks housed in a motel until you're ready to move them into permanent housing, rather than losing track of them because they've moved off the Springwater. There are some shelter spaces that are coming available that we're going to want to be directing people to, especially the Hanson building that opens on the 22nd of this month. That has about 200 beds, and some of those beds will be occupied by people that are now living in the Peace Shelter downtown that the Menashe family so generously made available to us. But we think there'll still be some room in the Hanson building, even after we've accommodated many of the folks from the Peace Shelter. And we do have more than 400 beds coming online, shelter beds coming online later this summer and fall, as the St. Vincent de Paul building that the county purchased in Westmoreland opens, and as the additional shelter space in Gresham that the county's funding opens. We think we'll have more shelter space. We know we'll have more shelter space there as well. So we're going to try to make sure that the impact on the people that are living there is as minimal as can be. But it's just gotten to a tipping point where we have too many people, too much environmental damage. And we know this, that once we have large concentrations of homeless folks, victimization of them and others by a few people that are willing and able to commit crimes is more likely. And therefore, this massive situation on the Springwater is not safe for anybody, including the homeless folks that are living out there.